Where did these popular words that are used today come from? You've heard the words, right? Love bombing, narcissistic supply, hoovering, discard. Maybe your spouse used them. Maybe you've seen them 100 times in a comment section. Maybe a YouTube video used them to describe your marriage. But here's what almost nobody knows. Those words, the entire vocabulary that the narcissistic abuse recovery world runs on, they came from one man. His name is Sam Vaknin. And here's what you need to know about Sam Vaknin. Okay, he wrote the foundational text, Malignant Self-Love, Narcissism Revisited. And while he wrote this while he was sitting in an Israeli prison serving time for financial fraud. He is not a licensed psychologist. He is not a clinician. He has no clinical training. He is a self-described, self-diagnosed narcissist who invented the language that millions of people are now using to diagnose their spouses. Let that land for a second. The words your wife or husband learned from a YouTube video, right? The checklist that she found at 2 a.m, the vocabulary that got handed to her as a clinical toolkit, it traces back to a convicted fraudster who diagnosed himself. Now, I want to be fair here because that's what I do. Vaknin is a complicated figure. He's written extensively about his own psychology. Some of what he's documented about narcissistic behavior is real. It is real and it is observable. And I'm not saying the behavior he described doesn't exist, but here's the problem. What he wrote as a personal examination of his own mind got picked up, cleaned up, repackaged, and handed to millions of people as a clinical framework for evaluating their marriages, your marriages. It was never that. And the people who built a billion-dollar recovery industry on top of his vocabulary never told you where it came from. They handed you a diagnosis. They didn't hand you a footnote. So the next time that you see a video with a checklist, 10 signs your partner is a narcissist, I want you to ask one question. Where did this come from? Because the answer is not a research university, it's not a clinical study, it's not a licensed therapist. A lot of it traces back to a prison cell in Israel in 1999. And nobody in the industry is going to tell you that. My name is Carl Copsey. I'm writing a book right now